Because Aoki has terrible grades, their teacher suggests he attends additional classes to improve his scores. He recommends someone who used to be in the same situation but entered a university by working very hard. Inside their classroom, Akan advises Aoki to do what he thinks is the best and not be easily influenced by anybody. However, when Ida declares that he will be lonely if Aoki decides to transfer to another school, Hashimoto and Akan realize that Ida significantly affects Aoki's decisions. The teacher arrives and introduces the new apprentice, Akano Yohei. Aoki excitedly greets his tutor for the one-to-one class. Akano says it is more critical for them to get to know each other on their first day rather than jumping immediately to the lessons. When Aoki apologizes after committing many mistakes in the exam, Akano admits that he was also like Aoki before. But because of his girlfriend, he put a lot of effort into developing himself. Without revealing Ida's identity, Aoki shares his relationship with Ida, his confession, and his reasons for liking Ida. When Akano asks how far their relationship has gone already, he is stunned when Aoki answers that they only eat lunch together. Surprised by the wholesome statement, Akano queries whether holding hands or kissing never crosses their minds. When Aoki replies that he has never imagined to that extent, Akano states the possibility that the other party may be just waiting for Aoki to take the lead. Aoki and Ida settle to have their meal on the staircase because there are people on the rooftop. Ida concludes that there is nothing wrong since the two are enjoying each other's company. Upon hearing this, Aoki remembers what Akano has said, and he starts to assume that maybe Ida also aspires for them to be a little intimate. Aoki placed his hand on top of Ida's. When Ida reacts extraordinarily stunned by the incident, Aoki panics and blabbers several excuses. During their session, Akano questions why Aoki is significantly focused. By solving math problems, he can forget the bad things that recently happened. To lift Aoki's spirit, Akano presents the test result with a very high score to Aoki. On a bridge, Ida notices Aoki, who looks very happy while holding his test papers. Ida tells Aoki that he is relieved because Aoki seems down lately. Aoki apologizes for touching Ida's hand on the staircase and promises never to do it again. Ida suddenly grabs Aoki's hand and puts it inside his pocket. Because Aoki's hand felt strangely cold, Ida explains that is the reason why he reacted that way that day. Aoki states that it is all right. At least, it is not out of hate. Ida holds Aoki's hand and assures him that he will never be disgusted by him. Unbeknown to the couple, Akano has witnessed what occurred on the bridge. Because of what he discovered, Akano becomes conscious of his interactions with Aoki. He falls out of his chair when Aoki moves very close to him. Aoki reminds his teacher about the promise of treating him to ramen if Aoki gets a perfect score on the quiz. When Akano tells Aoki to forget about it, Aoki playfully punches Akano and states how he anticipates it. Akano becomes repulsive and admits seeing Aoki and Ida together. He swears to keep it a secret, but he can no longer buy him a meal. Ida, Hashimoto, and Akan notice that Aoki is acting weird, so Ida suggests Aoki speak up regarding his troubles. Aoki explains that there is nothing to worry about. It is just that their teacher backs out from his commitment after learning about his relationship with Ida. Ida is planning to discuss with Akano regarding the issue, but Aoki stops him from doing so. When Ida asks Aoki what he wants to do, Aoki replies that he will focus on taking care of the people who are also concerned about him. Then, Aoki invites Ida to eat ramen together after the club activities. Ida sends a message for Aoki to go to the shop first, for he will be a little late. On his way to the restaurant, Aoki helps a man who cannot find his hotel in the area. As the grandfather tries to give money as a token of gratitude, Akano grabs and drags Aoki away from the location. Because Akano assumes that Aoki is doing something bad, Aoki exclaims how his teacher is full of prejudice. Aoki shares how he is happy to be taught by Akano, and he somehow considers him an older brother. When Akano explains how he does not understand him, Aoki argues that nothing has changed except that Akano finds out about his relationship with Ida. In a sudden turn of events, Ida arrives and invites Akano to join them. He reveals how Aoki is excited about eating ramen with his teacher. When Ida goes to the washroom, Akano apologizes to Aoki for being suspicious of Aoki's actions. Aoki declares how he only wants to be with Ida. When Akano observes that each one orders a different type of ramen, he realizes that people should have the freedom to like whoever they want. With each succeeding episode, the relationship and attitudes of Aoki and Ida continue to mature. Although it is only their first relationship experience, the two triumphantly manage the issues and hurdles coming in their way. I love the scene where Aoki implies he is still the same person even if he likes Ida. One of the biggest challenges of all BL couples is convincing people that what they need is acceptance and not special treatment. They only want their relationships to be treated as equal and certainly not to demand any advantage. If you like this video, please consider buying us a coffee. You can find the link to our coffee page in the video description. With all your help, we can continue to provide summaries and commentaries of our favorite BL series.